Today I will be discussing my lesson plan for EDUC 338. In this lesson plan, I used two standards, a reading standard that was the students being able to describe and explain the setting using the illustrations in the reading, and then an art standard that stated that the students would be able to create an illustration in the same style or create art in the same style as another artist. So what we did was, it was a first grade lesson, and we read Eric Carle's A Very Hungry Caterpillar, and we did a think, pair, share activity where they were paired off into groups and they asked different questions on the board, and we went over it as a class and we all talked about it, and I kind of assessed the students formatively by walking around the classroom and hearing what they had to say with their partners, and then we talked about it and I let each group kind of talk about what they said. We went around the room and different questions different groups had and everything, and so that went really well. And some of the students would ask me questions and I would ask them a question in return to get them to think about their answer and stuff, and so that activity went really well. And then after that was done, they went to their seats and we created an illustration in the same style as Eric Carle's. And when we were reading the book, we actually talked about, I would point at the pictures, I used words like cross-hatching, shapes, textures, things like that Eric Carle uses in his drawings so that the kids could think about it before they were able to draw their own drawings. And when they were drawing, I went around the classroom and asked the students what they were doing specifically to make their drawings look like Eric Carle's. One of the examples that I have put in the Dropbox for my materials is a little boy. He drew an ice cream cone, and there's a bunch of different directions that the colors are going, and he told me that he used cross-hatching. And although he might not know specifically that word, he did understand what I had explained to him when I was pointing out Eric Carle's drawings, and I thought it was really cool that he picked up on that and used it in his actual illustration. We also had a pre-assessment and a post-assessment using Kahoot. My class is a big fan of Kahoot, and so we did a 5-question Kahoot for a pre-test and a 5-question Kahoot for a post-test, and I really saw improvement in that. I was able to look at the computer quickly and see a kind of a class overview of who was getting it and stuff, and there was a significant improvement from the first test to the second test, and I thought that went really well. Struggles in this lesson plan were that things just don't always go as planned. Before I got to the school, I had edited my original PowerPoint with the students' names, and I had paired them where I knew they were seated in the classroom because the teacher had informed me that they were paired with the person that they collaborated with the best in a non-disruptive way. So I had paired them the way I remembered they were seating, and when I got to the school, it either didn't carry over, it didn't save, or I sent her the wrong version of my PowerPoint, and so there was no assigned partners. So what we did was I had them match up with the people that they wanted to, and although it made it a little more hectic during that part, it did end up going really well. I was very proud of the students for getting in pairs quickly and not abusing the fact that they weren't assigned to partners. Also, in my lesson plan, I stated they would rotate every question, and because of the size of the room and the amount of students, that just wasn't feasible for the time that we had, so they ended up staying with the same partners for all 3 think, pair, share questions, but it didn't seem to harm the lesson or what they got out of that activity, so I was happy with the way that turned out. Also, if you notice in my Dropbox, there are several photos for the work. I do apologize for how many there are, but the students did not want me to write on the front of their illustrations because I couldn't disturb their drawing that they had made. So all the feedback is on the back, so there's 2 pictures for every work so that you got the feedback and the picture itself. I was very proud of the way the students handled the whole thing. They did really well. I know that it's hard for a new teacher to come in and disrupt their day, so all in all, it went really well. My observation teacher said that it went really well and she was really proud of me and the way the students handled the whole thing. So I had a great time and I definitely learned a lot from this assignment, so thank you.